Every season we all see it. People who have garden beds that are filled with flowers that are doing great and plants that are taking off, but maybe yours aren't. So if that's the case, this is the video for you. So what is this secret that we can use to improve what's growing in our beds? Everybody wants more flowers and they want stronger shrubs and trees. So the thing you need to consider is feeding your plants. Plants need to be fed throughout the whole growing season. So the first thing we need to consider is, what do we fertilize our beds with? And that's where most people make a huge mistake, and it really costs them a lot of good growth. Choosing the best fertilizer for your beds is easy. Don't use liquid fertilizers and don't use quick-acting products. Things like Miracle-Gro, they really do not work. These things go into the soil and they give your plants a huge burst of energy. Your plants need to be fed throughout the whole season. If you use quick-acting products, especially liquids, after a rainstorm or two, they're gone. So you're throwing your money away and you're going to get a tiny burst, and the rest of the season, your plants will be starving. We've got to choose a fertilizer that is a slow release fertilizer. And the reason it's slow release is not that we want slow results, but we want lasting results. So we need to pick a fertilizer that we can put down and it will slowly feed the plants all season. But that's not just for the plants, it's for you too. I don't want to fertilize my beds every week or even every month. I want to do it one time per year. And the product that I've chosen to do this is called Osmocote. And the name fits because it has a coating on these little granules that allows me to put them in a bed one time per season, and they will slowly dissolve and feed the plants at a nice, steady, controlled rate. This is much better than any liquid or quick-acting product. It makes a big difference. How do we put this fertilizer down? And it might seem super easy, but I'm going to show you a way that saves time and lets you use the least amount of product. Now, if you're a millionaire, throw all the fertilizer down you want, but if you're going to waste it, it wastes your money and it's bad for the environment. So we need to think about how we're going to put this down without spending a lot of money on tools. So when you have beds in your yard, you're going to have 3 different kinds of beds. The first is what I call a specimen bed, and that's where you've got a bed like this, where you've got a few plants scattered. You might even have a small tree or shrubs, but you've got a good amount of space around them. So the way you want to fertilize these is to do something simple. Now you can just put on a pair of gloves and you can sprinkle the fertilizer on them, or you can take a scoop like I'm showing here and dump it onto the plants. Now you don't have to worry about quite how much you put down, but I like to put down enough so that I can just see the granules on the ground. And that tends to be about a scoop or so per plant. But doing it this way is going to put the fertilizer right at these plants, and it's going to get it directly to the area where their roots are, and you're going to get the best growth. This is going to be good for a specimen type bed, or if you have beds in a small property, there's no need to buy fancy tools. Just either put it down by hand or use these scoops and they work great. Now my next tip works if you've got a medium-sized yard or you've got a lot of specimen beds and it's just beyond the amount you want to use a scoop for. This is a simple tip that I do all the time. I use one of these sports bottles and I fill this up with fertilizer, and this works really well because I can put quite a bit in here, I can carry it around the yard, and then I can sprinkle it out in a much more controlled manner. You're going to shake it and go around plant to plant. And this works very well for a medium-sized yard or even a large yard if you've got lots of specimen beds. But this is a simple thing that you can do, doesn't cost much money, and it really saves product. Now our last bed, and these can be the most difficult for people, is what I call either a large bed, a mega bed, or some type of a bed that has a ground cover or a plant that spreads into a huge area. Now these can be the most challenging for people because if you just take your hand and throw the fertilizer, it's not going to go down evenly and you're really going to waste a lot of your fertilizer, and it's just not a good way to do it. So I've got a simple solution that costs very little money, and it's good if you've got a big area, because this tool is going to let you do the job fast. And this is a simple hand spreader. Now the one I'm using here was made by Lesco, but I have a link to a cheaper one that you can get that does the job just as well. But these work very, very well because it's got a little hopper and you can see the door in the bottom there that allows you to fill them with fertilizer, and then you can carry them around the yard and you can spread that fertilizer in a controlled manner. And the only reason you want it this way is because you want to put an even amount onto those large beds. But the second reason you want to use this is because these beds are big. So you don't want to spend all day with the shaker bottle putting them down. So my recommendation is fill this up, and all you've got to do is walk over to those beds and just blast them with this, and you're going to put a lot of fertilizer down quickly but evenly. So by doing it this way, you're going to use the least amount of product, cover a large bed like this, and it's quick. Technically, you can fertilize any time of year, but I find that the best time to do it is going to be in the earliest spring that you can get out there, because it's going to let your plants have a lot of fertilization over the entire season. Osmocote is simply the best. This video is not sponsored by them. I've never gotten any free product from them, and how I got here is that I found out this stuff just works. And because it lasts 5 to 6 months, it lets me do one treatment per year. And for things like flowers especially, the blooms are better, but even trees and shrubs do so much better on it. Now the bag I'm showing you here is a 50-pound bag, and if you buy it, you really save money because you can put it in a Home Depot bucket like this, keep it all year with a lid on top, or even for more than a year, so you can really have a lot on hand. But if you want smaller sizes, I have those linked in the description as well. I hope this video gave you some great information about slow fertilizers and why you want to use them in your beds in your own yard. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and please comment below. I'd love to hear about how you take care of your yard as well. Thanks for watching and have a great day.